All right, welcome back. This is Sergeant Montoya, Tennessee State Guard 61st Medical, and today we're going to be talking about units of soldiers. How big are they? Who commands them? And their NCO level equivalent. Who would be taking care of what? And, how does this all apply to the Tennessee State Guard? So, in the files that you guys have been given, all right, it has a list. Now, don't mind it says Vietnam. That's what we still use today. And so, the first group is called a squad. The squad is 6 to 10 soldiers, and it's commanded by a sergeant. Now, a corporal can also be a squad leader, but typically they're an assistant squad leader. And your sergeant is going to be the main guy over that as well. So after that, you have a platoon. So a platoon typically has 3 to 5 squads, and they're a little bit bigger. They're commanded by a second lieutenant or first lieutenant. It's usually a second lieutenant, but a first lieutenant can also command it. And they usually have a sergeant first class or a staff sergeant acting as their platoon sergeant. Usually it's going to be that sergeant first class that's going to take care of that. So after we get through there, we go to a company. So a company has 3 to 4 platoons within that company. The 61st Medical is a specialty company, so this doesn't typically apply to specialty companies, like medical or like communications, something like that. But for general knowledge, this is what people think of when they think of a company. They're usually commanded by a captain. Now, they can be commanded by a first lieutenant and even a major, though typically it's going to be that captain that's going to fill that role, and a first sergeant is going to be the one that typically commands a company. Again, in a specialty company, you may have a command sergeant major. However, for most companies, it's going to be a first sergeant that's going to take care of the company's NCO needs. After that, you have a troop, well, not a troop, but a battalion. A battalion's next. So a battalion, 3 to 5 companies, and they're usually commanded by a lieutenant colonel. And again, at this point, you're getting into command sergeant major territories in terms of NCOs. After a battalion, you have a regiment. So a regiment is typically commanded by a colonel, a full-bird colonel, or a one-star general. Now, another name for regiment is a brigade. So when you hear the word brigadier general for one-star general, that is why, because they're usually commanding a brigade. Again, this is the command sergeant major details, and from here on out, just assume a command sergeant major is going to be in all of these, because usually command sergeant major can be called just regular command sergeant major, or they can be that's the battalion command sergeant major, the regimental command sergeant major, the brigade command sergeant major, the regimental command sergeant major, or the next group, a division command sergeant major. So a division is 3 to 4 regiments, 3 to 5 regiments, and that's commanded by a major general. So Major General Holmes, or our commanding general for the Tennessee State Guard, typically will be a 2-star general. And again, division command sergeant major, just like division command sergeant major Caudell's now. And now we know that our next general is going to be Brigadier General Santiago. So with that, after division, you have a corps. So corps has 2 or more divisions. So that's typically commanded by a 3-star or a lieutenant general, and of course, their respective command sergeant major. And after that, you have what's called a field army, which is 50,000 plus soldiers, and that's commanded by a general. And again, they'll have their command sergeant major with them. So just to review, you're going to have your squad run by sergeants or corporals, your platoon run by first or second lieutenants and a sergeant first class on the NCO counterpart, companies which are going to be commanded by typically a captain, but can be commanded by a major and or a first lieutenant, and they have a first sergeant, or in a specialty company, a command sergeant major. After that, you have a battalion. Battalions are usually commanded by lieutenant colonels, and they have their command sergeant major. And then you go to regimental or brigade, and they're commanded by a full bird colonel or a 1-star, and that command sergeant major who is along with that. After your brigade or regiment, you're going to go into your division. So the division is commanded by a 2-star general or a major star, or sorry, not a major general, and their command sergeant major. Then as you go up, it's just the same thing with command sergeant majors, but on the officer side, that's what changes. So after your division, you have a field corps, which is run by a 3-star or lieutenant general, and finally a general, a 4-star general, will command a field army. So, hope this has helped. Hua out.